Going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pazza Podcast, midweek version and Heralded Legends, Calcio Unheralded Legends. We are back with another episode of the series detailing some underrated, unheralded players of the Serie A of the 2000s and 2010s. This week, we are back with an episode of a former Roma player, played alongside another Calcio Unheralded Legends player we've done before in Rodrigo Tade. This week we are coming back with the French defender. Many of you will remember from his time at Roma and Milan, Philippe Mexes. Philippe Mexes was born on the 30th of March 1982 in Toulouse, France. From the ages of 8 to 15, Mexes would play for the youth academy of Toulouse, but in the summer of 97, at the age of 15, he made the move to the youth academy of Auxerre, staying there for the next 2 years in the youth setup before making his senior debut at the age of 17 for the Auxerre senior squad. Mexes would stay with the club until 2004, amassing 133 appearances and scoring 7 goals with Auxerre, and during his time would win the 2003 Coupe de France with the club. That 2003 Coupe de France victory would be over a PSG side that held current U.S. manager Mauricio Pochettino, longtime Argentinian defender, some may say legend, Gabriel Heinze, and the player we all know, love, the one who made a lot of us fall in love with football maybe, Ronaldinho. Alongside playing at Auxerre with Philippe Mexes is former France international, maybe another legendary player that we all remember, Djibril Cissé, player who scored in the final against PSG to set up a 2-1 victory for Auxerre, winning the 2003 Coupe de France. His success at Auxerre spurned a move abroad to a bigger club, and in July of 2004, Philippe Mexes would make a €7 million move to AS Roma in the Italian top flight. Philippe Mexes became a Roma player at a time that was kind of a controversial period or a topsy-turvy period for the capital city club. During the summer, manager Fabio Capello decided to jump ship and join Juve, brought along also with him Roma midfielder Emerson to Juve, and at the same time, Roma had decided to sell defensive stalwart Walter Samuel to Real Madrid. That's not where the tumultuous offseason ended. In result of selling Samuel, they brought in Mexes to be his replacement, but the transfer did not go to plan. It couldn't find too much specifics about what was the controversy, but the transfer led to Auxerre suing Roma over the transfer and leading to Roma getting a 1-year transfer ban over this transfer, Mexes Auxerre to Roma. Controversy still would not stop there. Early in the season, a manager who had been brought in to replace Fabio Capello, Cesare Prandelli, had decided that he needed to step down due to the illness of his wife. So within the first couple weeks of the season, Roma was looking for another manager as well. All this uncertainty and rockiness led to Mexes not making his debut until September 12th in a match against Fiorentina. This season, Roma would go through 4 different managers. If you count Prandelli, they would go through longtime Roma legend, German head coach Rudi Völler, Luigi Del Neri, and Roma legend Bruno Conti for the 2004-2005 season. After a decently good run of success for the club, this season again was marred by controversy and disappointment. They would finish 8th place in the league this season, which is a shame because this is a squad that contains the likes of Cristian Panucci, Christian Chivu, Abel Xavier, Simone Perotta, Alberto Aquilani, former Inter player or future former Inter player, wide man, very technical Brazilian winger Amantino Mancini, Vincenzo Montella, Antonio Cassano, and Roma legends Daniele De Rossi and Francesco Totti. Although the 04-05 season was lost, new stuff was on the horizon, and that was capped by the bringing in of the 05-06 season manager Luciano Spalletti. Spalletti brought stability to the club finally, and also brought stability to Philippe Mexes being a stalwart in that backline for Roma. Mexes would become a mainstay in the backline for Roma, partnering with Christian Chivu specifically in that first season. This was a season where Roma would jump ahead 3 places compared to the season before and finish the 05-06 season in 5th place. But due to the Calciopoli scandal and the stripping of points for clubs ahead of them, Roma were eventually awarded runners-up and 2nd place, qualifying for the Champions League. First time in Mexes' career, he was going to be able to play Champions League football. Mexes would spend 7 seasons in the Eternal City, amassing 183 appearances and scoring 11 goals. He famously would form defensive partnerships with players such as Chivu, as we mentioned before, longtime partner Brazilian João. If you remember him, he was a great player. He could also be a candidate for a Calcio Unheralded Legends episode. And former Inter player, Argentinian, longtime Serie A player, Nicolas Bardiso. During his time at Roma, he would finish runners-up in the league 4 times. He would win the Coppa Italia 2 times, as well as finishing runners-up 3 times, and he would also finish with a Supercoppa Italiana medal in his 7 seasons at Rome. His best goal tally season was seasons where he finished with 3 goals. This happened a couple times in his career in Serie A. During his time at Roma is really where I remember Mexes the best, and really where he became an important figure for Serie A, in my opinion. You always knew when he was on the pitch whenever you were watching Roma play, because he had the long, blonde, streaky ponytail. But he was also very good and technical with the ball at his feet, as when we'll talk about later some of the goals that he scored. And very strong, decently fast enough to deal with good strikers. And that partnership with João for Roma was a very important partnership for a club, Roma, and a team that had finished runners-up most of the time during this era. After 7 years in the capital city of Rome, Mexes' Roma career would end in injury sustained. I think it was a cruciate ligament injury sustained towards the end of the 2010-2011 season. This would cause Roma not to trigger a contract renewal for him, allowing him to leave on a free transfer. And in the summer of 2011, Felipe Mexes decided to sign with defending champions of that season, AC Milan. Mexes would spend 5 seasons at Milan, amassing 86 appearances and scoring just 6 goals over the 5 seasons. He found it tough to break in his first year at the club, with Milan having defenders such as Serie A legend Alessandro Nesta, one of the best defenders of all time, and at the time youngster, but still had already pretty much cemented himself as a top-class center back in world football, Thiago Silva. He wouldn't make his first team debut for Milan until October 26 of that 2011 season with a 4-1 victory over Parma. After only making 14 appearances in that first season, Alessandro Nesta departed, and so did Thiago Silva, which would allow Felipe Mexes to be the first choice center back for the next season. He would have a partnership with Colombian Cristian Zapata. His time at Milan really will be remembered for the 2 absolute worldy goals that he scored. The first goal was in a Champions League match against Belgian side Anderlecht in a bicycle kick that he scored. It was a brilliant goal, Champions League. And that was really the first time we'd seen something like that from Mexes. The second goal was actually a Puskás nominated goal. It was a preseason friendly match against crosstown rivals Inter. In America, it actually was in the States, and it was a goal coming off of a corner. Mexes was at the top of the area and hit an insane side scissor volley to the top of the corner. It's one of those goals you have to watch to really understand what kind of goal it was. So if you have free time after listening to this, type in Mexes versus Inter and just watch the goal. There's a reason why it was nominated for a Puskás Award. Unfortunately, that was really the height of Mexes at Milan. After winning the Scudetto for the 2010-2011 season and then bringing Mexes in that subsequent summer, they never quite reached the heights of that again with Mexes' time at the club, kind of really entering in that banter era that Milan fans will regretfully remember. Mexes would be released from the club in the summer of 2016, wouldn't be picked up by another club for a whole year, causing him to announce his retirement from club football November of 2017. Mexes was a prominent player for the French youth squads, playing and featuring many times in the U18 and U21 sides. He would make his senior debut while at Auxerre in a match on October 16th, 2002, at the age of 20. And he would go on to make 28 further appearances, totaling to be 29 for the French International Les Bleus senior side, and scoring 1 goal in the process. Mexes would be a part of the Euro 2012 squad that lost in the quarterfinals to eventual winner Spain. He featured in every group match, but was unfortunately suspended for that quarterfinal match in a 2-0 loss against Spain. Since retiring from football, Mexes has kept a pretty low profile. The only thing I could see is that he has mentioned that all he does with his days is spend time with his kids and his second wife. That's going to do it for this episode of Calcio Unheralded Legends. If you guys wouldn't mind leaving a comment of a memory you have on Philippe Mexes or anything that I might have missed, anything interesting from the French player, and also maybe leave a comment of a player that you would like to hear me do a little profile piece on in the future. I appreciate all the support, guys, and as always, Forza Inter.